A new era of technology.
Hey, we're live.
Yeah.
I was just saying to Mel, it's a new era of technology, but you know, it's the same old technology.
Although, you know that they have 3D printers they're using in China, 24 hours to build 10 houses. That is cool. I'm very excited about that. And a titanium bike. That's new technology.
Yes.
Soon we'll have fax machines that can send 3D objects.
Fabulous. Will they be able to clone me?
William Gibson only got
go down
so
the
far.
beach and stay in bed at the same time.
No, because they always destroy the first when the second is produced, except in that William Gibson novel where the guy ends up having two and the ethics department has to come and find the one that didn't get destroyed, and there's this big debate about personhood, blah, blah, blah. It's very exciting. I do love William Gibson.
It's so interesting. We've started talking about personhood, and it is week 5. Permission to connect.
So what does that mean again?
Close encounters of the third kind.
That's touch, not connect.
Oh, sorry. Damn, I was hoping for a bit of
touching rights.
I was hoping for a bit of touch love this week.
Touching rights and connection. Maybe might be in a different course, I think.
Okay. Yeah.
And I don't even know. Didn't it say something about the story that you tell? It's not even about that old system of connection. You know, that idea you go, oh, I know I'm connected when someone listens to me.
I know I'm connected because they saw my picture on Instagram and they liked it.
Yeah, all that stuff.
I know I'm connected.
It doesn't work like that.
Because I'm thinking of them.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I realise.
I know I'm connected because I'm directing my thoughts to them and I hope they get this message.
But then they have to be outside of you in order for that to be true. I guess it's that whole interconnection, because separation is impossible.
Well, many people will be looking at us going, poo, you two are separate people sitting there. I can see where the line is between you. Oh, it's not a line, it's power cord. Anyway, they can see where the line is between you. If Mel doesn't talk to Louise, she's not connecting with her. Or if Louise doesn't do something nice, she's not connecting with her.
What?
Well, for the majority of us.
Yeah, but there are people that can see beyond. This is not the end of you. And just because someone's perceptual bias doesn't allow them to see that there is more going on, that everything is actually connected, doesn't mean it's not connected.
No, but I'm just saying, most of us, for most of our lives, live in the illusory bubble of safety that we are a separate being who can withdraw ourselves from people if they hurt us and go towards people who are going to benefit us, whatever, however you want to say it. But there is a sense that I want these people in my life because they make me feel better.
Yeah.
And they reinforce my stories and they, whatever they do for me, they do something for me that makes me feel better. And most of us spend our whole life scrambling around trying to keep relationships in that work for us and keep relationships out that have hurt us.
Yeah, yeah.
So for most people, when we say permission to connect, they go, oh, we're going to have some really intimate moments with people we really like. We're going to go out and seek out people who will help us become better people.
Yeah. That's not it.
Am I never going to get past this feeling of loneliness then? Am I going to be stuck in my loneliness forever if I never get to connect with anyone? How am I going to feel better?
If it serves you, perhaps you will. Perhaps you'll live there forever, even though that's impossible.
I still want to go a bit more deeply into this illusion of separation because it feels like many people at the moment are part of the oneness movement, or oneness has become quite a catchphrase, you know, in so many of the books and things. We've all come to some scientific conclusion that oneness is undeniable, that we are one and la la la. Though it feels like we're all still coming at it from the paradigm that is linear, mechanistic, whatever. You know, there's exchange involved. You know, when you come up to another person, you go, "Oh, look, you're one. You're part of me. What are we going to create together? How are we going to make this a better world? Where are we going together?" Like, it feels like there's still that kind of exchange thing. And if I don't like what you do, I'm going to pull back and separate from you.
Yeah, and that whole idea of let's have an effect on the world. How can you have an effect on something that you are? I don't know, it just requires you to have two separate parts. I'm going to have an effect over there because over there is over there and I'm over here. And we're all one, but decisions I make over here are going to have an effect over there.
And I just think this week really, for me, I know when I first started looking at all these ideas and ways of being in the world, this week really brought up for me that sense that it just disappeared. It's really vivid then, and then it just disappeared.
Well, I can tell you a story.
Vivid it was for a minute. Vivid.
This is how it works. So you have a situation, say my intuition says you need to say this out loud. And I go, okay, I will say this out loud. And there are, people in the situation, and the people in the situation don't respond in a way that allows me to even finish what I'm saying.
I don't even get it out in my mouth.
Right? And then I go, okay, that's interesting. And so I go away and I think, so you asked me to say something out loud. I didn't even get to finish what you wanted me to say. What does that mean? The question that comes in for me is, so what did you want me to get? Because it's two parts. Like, there's a sense that there's an instruction about that information, that very particular information that my intuition asked me to share is part of those instructions. And then the reaction that I have, like the emotion that comes up, is also part of why that was significant. It's never about the other person. So say you're in a situation and something happens and you walk out of it and you go, okay, I need to understand this in a different way. There are the two parts. There were the so-called facts, and then there's the emotions. And then when the facts come up, you go, right, okay, so maybe this information is for somewhere else. Can you tell me where that would be? And you don't even look for an answer. You just know that that's where your focus is, and you let it go. And maybe the first thing that comes into your head is standing on stage or another person in your life or whatever it is, or nothing at all, and just leave it alone. So then the emotions come up. Okay, so what happened when, how did I feel? And you go, okay, I feel like I feel upset. Okay, go for the first one. You go, okay, if this wasn't about anyone else, what would this be about? And then the next thing that comes up is, and it's usually about other people, the first thing that comes up, and it will be, I really wish I had someone who I could do that with, talk to about that. And you go, okay, if that wasn't about anyone else, what would that be about? And you keep, you don't make any of it wrong. You go, oh, that's about other people. That's not the right answer. We need to go somewhere else. How could I be thinking that it's about other people? You go, great, thanks for that. If it wasn't about other people, what would it be about? And the next thing comes in. There is this sense that it doesn't matter what that situation is. It doesn't matter, because it's not about maintaining. And I think this is where the psychology of spirituality has kind of strangled people's assessment of how well they're doing, is that if they don't have relationships that people are, deep listening with each other, if they're not paying attention in a particular way, if they don't feel valued in a particular way, if they don't feel like they have a even physical space, there's a sense that, damn it, I must be doing it wrong because I don't have the things that I think I need to prove that I'm paying attention, to prove that I'm present, to prove that I'm
an enlightened being.
An enlightened being. And really what's going on is those situations, like everything that happens to you is your conversation with the cosmos. Everything that happens to you is asking you to pay attention. And your loudest point is the easiest place to pay attention. And why wouldn't it be in the everyday situations that you're in, that all of that wisdom that you need to pay attention to is? Why would it be in some, I just want to say, some extraneous situation? Why would it be in a course that you have to go? I'm not having a go at, like, courses and stuff, but why would it be in a course that you have to go overseas to visit? Why wouldn't it be everywhere you are? And it will be in those courses, and it will be in those extraneous situations, but it will be here, because here is where you are. And it's just this sense of, that spiritual psychology is filling you with this constant assessment and this to-do list. How can you be here? How can you be interconnected? How can you see the value of being with whatever is here if you're always assessing it against some ideal, or, making it part of your task list? And if that's what's going on, then that's happening for a reason. And, we can understand that in a different way as well. It's not about saying, oh, now I know I've been doing it wrong my whole life.
Oh my God, Mel said it's not in going overseas for a course, so I'm going to go straight away overseas and do it just to prove her wrong. So you can do that.
But I'm not saying it's not about.
I'm going.
Because if that's where you are, then that's where it's happening. I'm saying you don't have to wait. I'm saying it doesn't have to be.
I've been waiting for weeks. Damn it!
I'll do my work when I get there. I'll do my spiritual work, have my conversation with God. I'll do my intuitive stuff.
All these weeks of wasted time, and I was going to wait till I talk to Ken to find God. Damn it!
When I meditate, or when I go for that nature walk, then I'll be in it and I'll be able to bring in whatever it is I think I need. You do it all the time. It's not like I'm not saying don't have an altar, and I'm not saying don't meditate, and I'm not saying don't go to Ken's course. I'm saying do all those things.
I love my altars. Don't take my altars away from me now. Jesus, I'm hanging on by a thread. If it wasn't for that altar, I would have lost the plot by now.
I'm saying, yeah, but you lose it. Like, there's this sense of all the other stuff is just as sacred. All that stuff about waiting in line or dealing with, what do they call them? What's Telstra?
And so I think Telstra is a telecom. It is an internet company, puts your internet on, and often makes mistakes, often has you on hold for a long time, and often frustrates the living heck out of people.
Well, if you have an assessment of it being an entity, it does. And if you don't take each situation as your conversation with the cosmos, it will. Like, you will go, oh, this is happening to me, and these people or this company is against me, and they never give me what I want. Like, you will have this story about everything that's happening.
And I want to go back a couple of steps too, because during the course of the week as well, me and Mel have talked about commitments again a lot. And that very thing about when Mel says, you can't go overseas, you can't have an order, whatever.
I didn't say you can't.
If you just heard her say it like that, which you will hear her say, if you're feeling like you want to hold on to something, and that is the loudest point for you to keep operating the way you operate somewhere, in some area of it, that is perfect for you. And you will hear Mel say, you can't, but she didn't say you can't, but you'll hear that. You'll hear her say, you can't have an altar and you can't do this and you can't do that and you won't reach enlightenment unless you do these 10 things. And here's the 10 commitments ebook that tells you exactly how to operate. But there's something about commitments, and it's your commitment to you. And it's not your commitment to Mel or me or to the course or to Telstra or to anyone else. It's your commitment to you. About how much do you want to play what game? You know, like where do you want to be playing in your life? Because you can play anywhere. It's totally your gig. Your show is your show, and it will be like you make it. And so somewhere this week feels like we talked about it the other day is it's a reinforcing of the commitments. Like in the course, if you do the 8-week course with us at the beginning, you set yourself up with some commitments for you, and you look at where you're committed in your life, what you're committed to. And that's like Mel said, it's not just when you go overseas and do the course, it's not just when you go to church on Sundays, it's not just when you decide I've got to sit in front of my altar and be a spiritual person, or it's not just when things aren't going the way you want them. You go, oh my God, I have to be a spiritual person if I want to get this right in my life. It is about how much do you want to be committed to the thing you're committed to. And it's not any one particular thing. Like Mel will say things like, you know, how does this serve you? And everyone's just inspired because they want to be loved.
Everyone is motivated by the desire to feel loved.
Yeah. And you will hear it in different ways according to what you believe for you. And you will take it on in different ways according to what you believe for you. Somewhere the choice is totally yours about whether you step into this cosmology full-time, part-time. And Mel would say you can't step into it part-time because once you go, there's oneness, then you've committed to something. That you're going to see all beings without judgment, without blaming or shaming or trying to change or trying to affect different things to be different to what they actually are. And you're going to start standing in the place where you have each experience as a gift to you that is there to serve you from a benevolent universe. And even that, I know at this point for some people, when I say benevolent universe, they go into a fit of rage, of what do you mean a benevolent universe? There's industries out there destroying things. There's people who are mean and ugly. There's
But we don't
that's
have all the
fine.
information.
But that's also fine. If you want to be committed to that idea, you're welcome to that idea. If it's working for you to have the bad guys, have the bad guys.
Yeah. So I guess that's more about self-awareness than oneness. You know, there's a sense of you have a choice. Like a lot of the perfect present experience, the 8 weeks, is about becoming aware of what you are driven by. You know, the beliefs that are making your perspective real. The beliefs that are creating camps of good and bad and couldn't care less. You know, the beliefs that are driving you to fight for some conditions and not care about others.
And I think,
it just gives you more of a sense of, okay, now I get where I'm operating from and now I get where the effort comes in. So I have a choice. And at no time do we say, well, now that you know, you have to change it. Like it always comes back to, now that you know, have fun with that. Because at no point during this whole exercise did we say, right, we're going out into the world to make it different. We're going out into the world because people might like to play in these areas. And if they have an awareness and they know they have a choice, then that's it. We don't need to do anything else. Everybody is going to do what they do and hear what they hear. It doesn't matter what words come out of our mouth. Like your perceptual cognitive biases are going to make sure that you hear what you hear anyway. So only the people that are going to come and play are going to have a sense of that self-awareness. And if they do, if you get to a point in the course and go, well, I don't want to give up this idea, it really does work for me, because it does. And that's what we're saying the whole way along. All of your ideas are serving you. And you have a choice to keep them, have the experience you're having, or change them and have a different experience. It's up to you. There's no better. There's no more enlightened. There's no hierarchy of spiritual awareness. Like, you're responsible for your experience, the end. So that's where your choice comes in. It's not like you go and do a course and it says, oh, by the end you will have these 3 tools, and these 3 tools will mean that you never have to, whatever it is people promise you. I don't know. What do people
and I'm not sure what you, I mean, because about this point you'll be going, well, what am I going to get if I'm not going to get success, happiness, abundance, true love, and all the other things I signed up for at the beginning? Because you will, I mean, you will have come to this course going, I want to change something about me or the world. Chances are you will have dropped into this course and going, I'm still looking to fix myself, still looking to change the things in the outside world, the outcomes that I thought could be different. Chances are you're still looking for the key, the golden key that you turn to make everything go right in your life. Or you're still trying to fulfill the conditions of some test that you thought would make you the enlightened person, or the good girlfriend, or the, I don't know, whatever it is that you think is going to tick all the boxes to your success in this world. And I think what this course really does is it makes you ask yourself the question of, what is it that I want? Like, what is it that I am going for in this world? What is it that I am actually, because you might have come at the beginning going, I want to look successful in my work, I want to have a healthy relationship, I want, the world to be a better place. And those are all things that you can keep as your commitments. It will challenge you with some of the concepts we put forward, definitely, because if we're going no polarities, there's no right and wrong, you're going, I want a better world, and a better world looks like this, then you'll be challenged by a lot of the things we say, and it will throw you into a bit of a frenzy somewhere. But if that's the loudest point for you, if that is the thing that's ringing in your ears, it's serving you. There is a purpose for you in that, and go in there and ask yourself, how does it serve you? And very much, I feel, for me, it refines your ability to know what you actually want. And when I say want, I'm not talking about the outcomes anymore. In the past, I would have definitely been talking about what it looks like and what the outcomes are. But I think we were talking this week about, what commitments did I make at the beginning of the course? And I think I skipped over it, going, I've already got my goals. I've got my goals set out. I've got a whole book of them. In fact, I've got letters to myself from the future when I've got the goals. And, I've done every course about manifesting, not every course, that's a bit extreme, but, I've looked at all the modalities that go, you can attract what you want in your life. You can create the world to be a better place, and this is how you do it. And we do journaling in schools. We do journaling with people. I love writing. And I don't dish writing. I go, keep writing. And I go, write from a very exploratory place. Don't just write to be the person who reinforces your old paradigms, but, the things that you've been trying to prove to yourself for the longest time.
Yeah. But there's even something like, it's hard to explain because it is something that takes time, and that's why we've done it over 8 weeks. Like, there is a sense of whatever those ideas are, they're just the manifestation here in the verbal world. Like, somewhere they're very much attached to and part of the army that keeps in place your beliefs. Like, somewhere, I wouldn't say beneath, but somewhere interwoven in these beliefs that your idiosyncrasies and all of your ideas and actions and decisions and perceptual and cognitive biases are keeping in place. And it's not something that you can explain in 5-10 minutes. It is something that we need to sit with you and go, hey, so
what's happening for you today.
Yeah, because it's always in the now.
Point?
Yeah, because it is always in the now. It doesn't matter where you start.
It makes me think of a beautiful book called Ishmael by Daniel Quinn, which is a very powerful book for revealing where our cognitive biases have taken over. Like where it's really tricky for us to see outside of the cosmology that we've made up, and where we look outside and say it's being projected onto us, we have no control, like that. And he says this thing in that book, it's so beautiful, where he goes, we've forgotten that we've forgotten. Like there's some sense that we've made a deal with the universe that we're going to change the rules, and then we've made a deal to forget the other rules before we can even put the new rules in place, and we've forgotten that we've forgotten. So it's like, to unravel it, it's like we've got this little chink where we tricked ourselves somewhere. And I remembered the thing from before.
Yeah.
The thing I remembered from before was the very thing about, and I'm not sure where it leads, but that sense that we've all had enlightened moments in our life, that we've all had experiences where everything went smooth and fuzzy at the edges, and we felt some kind of peace and interconnectedness, and the universe was expanding out, and it all looked amazing. And we felt like we were having the impact on the world possibly that we wanted. And I think I might have talked about this in the shows before, that sense of, when I'm sitting doing my poetry at my desk, I feel completely aligned or completely connected. I feel like there's no one who walks past who I'm not connected to. When I'm doing my circus and I'm in a circle and I'm holding space for people to play, I feel like I can read what they need and give them what they need, and I'm connected to everyone who walks past, and I get a sense of how to engage them in the activity, and it's all feels very magical and interconnected and expanded and la la la. And I think at this point too, there's a sense that for some people, we're just going for that. We just want everything to feel like that all the time. Or, maybe you took drugs. I don't know, you had some expanded, ecstatic experience where the whole world was connected and all the barriers dissolved away. Or, like lots of people have had this experience in different ways, whether it's been in a church or under the influence of drugs or whatever. But we've got these kind of peak experiences that we hold up as the ideal. And in all experiences in life, we're trying to get back there. We're trying to get to that place where we feel that expanded consciousness. And we all, I guess we all have a different kind of version of it that suits our idea of what's important, what enlightenment would look like, what we've committed to in our lives. If it's playing with people, obviously it's going to look like a little circus circle. I don't know. But, I know for me that was very strong, and I was holding everything up against that feeling that felt a particular way. And that was making my life miserable because every moment's different. And, and even those moments when I'm in that, I'm trying to squeeze it into some box of what it looks like and what it feels like and what I think of it, rather than being present to the experience and being able to fully be present to the connections that are already operating in that moment, are already totally connected.
Well, I guess it's like how, if everything is oneness and oneness is everything, how can you separate what your preconceptions are of being connected from the rest of your experiences? All of the frequencies are necessary. You can't be in a situation and say, I only want these 5 out of the 5 billion frequencies that exist. If we could just create a world with only these 5 frequencies, that would be fabulous. But the thing is, we can only see them as separate because we're looking at them from the side. When you look at them from above, it's all one string. You can't separate them. It's an illusion that they're separated. All of the frequencies are necessary. You can't go around saying, oh, I want oneness, but can you just take out this one? Because I don't like this note. I don't use it in my symphony. Can we just take out that one? I just think it's about how can you be with, where do you need to stand to understand the value of that frequency? Where can you stand to understand, to feel the truth of everyone is doing the best they can with what they have? I mean, that is...
And even when Mel says, where can you stand?
Yeah.
You are standing exactly where you need to stand. Like, there's a sense that where you are, there's nowhere to go. There's nowhere to manipulate yourself or maneuver yourself as well. Even though we're going, there's a whole other cosmology to view it from.
Yeah.
There's nowhere to go. This is it.
So it depends what you want. If you want to stand where you are and see the world as faulty, then stay there. If you want to stand somewhere and see the world as whole, then there's a different sense of, and it's not to move, because it has to be, you have to be pulled. It has to be a truth that already exists. It has to be your loudest point in this moment. It can't be something, it can't be an ideal that you work towards. And you will know, like you will have, you know, the conversation and be in the course and go, all right, okay, yeah, I get it. The things that I've got are serving me and I have a choice, fabulous. I want to choose this. And it's not going to be the same for everybody, but I'm just giving you a sense, because there's a difference between being with people and saying wherever you are is serving you, and this is a choice. You have a choice. This is a cosmology that makes it visible that you're interconnected. It makes it visible that everyone is doing the best they can with what they have. It makes it palpable that every situation you're in is a conversation with the cosmos. If that's what you want, then we can show you what that looks like. But it's not that that's superior, but it is different to where you're standing, because otherwise you wouldn't be watching this or having a reaction to the world. You would already be doing it.
And I just wonder too, because when we set this whole enterprise up, if you like, we just wanted you to be privy to our conversations, to our philosophical ramblings and our bouncing off each other to find a deeper truth for ourselves. Is that a fair way to put it?
The only thing I want is for people to know, like that they are doing the best they can with what they have. I can't, that you are a gift with an important job. I don't have any other thing. But but the show was about how that manifests as a conversation. Yeah.
And so like, this isn't, it's not like we've got a script or we've got a plan or we've got a I don't know, these are the 3 keys to the universe, this is going to solve all your problems.
Because there are no problems.
Which may make a lot of people go, well, what are we doing here? why would we bother watching and listening to this rambling if there's no outcome that I'm looking for to be gained from watching this? And what made me think about it was because me and Mel were having a conversation that we didn't come to any conclusion on, or we didn't, I don't know, you know, it was part of our just connecting and being together yesterday around the difference between being an oracle and being
counsel.
And I guess I feel like that conversation is part of permission to connect, because for a lot of us, when we've gone into a new idea or a new way of being in the world, or we, you know, we're wanting to adjust our lens on the world, quite often we get excited because we get some results, or we do start to feel more peace in the world, or more euphoria, or more something, or we find some evidence that that new viewpoint is affecting change and working for us, and then we want to rush out and preach it to the world and tell other people about it and give them a taste of our experience. And for a lot of us, that is the way we connected over time. And so I think that, I don't know, whatever the story is that we're trying to work out ourselves around the oracle and the council, because particularly in delivering this course to you, particularly in wanting to create products that allow you to have a viewpoint that's new for you, or that it's not even new for you, because most of you, I know, for 1 minute you're rallying against us and rearing up against it and questioning it and, you know, ripping our ideology to shreds or something. And then the next minute you're going, but that's just what I've believed all along. Everyone's doing the best they can with what they have. People are just looking for love. Like, a lot of us have known that all along, and it's been the undercurrent of a whole bunch of things that we've thrown ourselves into experience.
But if it's not manifest everywhere, like there's something, anyway, you would, well, I just think that there's something about, if that's true for you, if that concept or whatever it is true for you, everyone is doing the best they can with what they have, then that means you explain all situations from that point. So when someone, I don't know, murders their baby, you know that that person is doing the best they can with what they have. That includes the situation they're in, the education they have, the amount of experience with empathy. That includes the spiritual awareness. That includes everything in their reality, everything that you can see and everything that is unseeable. There's something about that becomes your explanation. And even if something enrages you, if that is true for you, everyone is doing the best they can with what they have, you know somewhere that must be true. And if you're in a situation where something is occurring, then you act not in a complicit, what's the non-participant way. You act as you are, but your assessment of what's going on, like, because when you're in action in an emergency, you're driven by some instinct. So it's not like you go, oh yeah, I'm just going to let everything happen. When you're involved in something, there is an instinct that drives your behavior. When you're assessing that emergency after it's happened, that's when your story comes in about whether everybody was doing the best they can with what they have. So
and that includes you.
Yeah, and that includes you.
You know, like if you look back over your life and you're just slamming yourself and critiquing yourself and figuring out how you could have done it better, then you are not committed to that everyone is doing the best they can. Even if you're looking around outside and going,
yeah,
everyone's doing the best they can. I know it.
Everyone.
Even that murderer, even that child molester, even that person, I know they're doing, I understand their problems, but if only I could have done something differently, then the situation would be better.
Then the truth,
done it different.
And the truth for you is everyone else is doing the best they can with what they have.
And I guess, I mean, your commitments, in a way, are just your story. So if your story is, oh, I stuffed up again and it was a terrible day and I didn't get out of bed on time and, oh, God, I've still got the list of things to do on the desk that I should have got done yesterday, last week, 10 years ago. You know, that's your story. And you can go, that story's playing today. Okay, what's my commitment? My commitment is to see where everyone's doing the best they can with what they have and bring yourself back to the commitment. And I guess that's what I was saying earlier about the commitments. Kind of not refining your commitments, that's not quite probably the right word to use, but it is. It's going, what's at the heart of what you're looking for? What's at the depth of it? What is the commitment at the depth of that?
So what are your priorities? I mean, yeah, so it doesn't matter what door you go in, whether it's the story that you're telling about what's happening or what you're doing or what other people are doing, or the priorities that you set yourself. You know, somewhere in there, you're going to be able to become self-aware of those beliefs that the rest of your existence is backing up. So it's not that, yeah, anyway, so it's something that we have to sit with you because it does get convoluted. You know, if you go in there without this sense of support to be in there, it's like having a counselling session without a counsel. You really need to have someone hold you in there to begin with, and create a space for it to occur. And then you go, oh, okay, I get it. I know how to do this now for myself. It's just like anything, you know.
And there's no rules as well, because many of you will already be in there holding the space and being counsel for other people, and be going from telling them there's a better way to live and you can change and you can experience this law of attraction around some area that they want to change. And you'll be starting to go in there now with this new ideas, or I still, when I say new ideas, I go, I know, even though we keep wavering on our commitment to it, I know all of you have had an experience of going, because the truth is the truth. Like, we are connected. It's been there all along. And whatever we forgot to get ourselves all tangled up in other ideas that are serving us, like whatever this game is we're playing. And I think that's the other thing that's been pivotal for me, is that sense that we don't have to know the answers. Most of my life I've spent looking for the whys of it all. Why is it like this? Why is it like that? Why did that just happen? Why am I acting like that? Why? Yeah. You know, and getting myself so caught up on the trying to unravel it in that way, which hasn't been helpful, because I'm always looking at, you know, like I'm always looking at the past to try and find evidence for what's going on in the future, and then trying to find the rules for operating in the present, and trying to affect no discomfort in the future or something. And every moment is its own discrete individual, if you like. Every moment is some whole new experience, a whole new person, a whole new, I don't know.
But it's like
magic happening.
It's like, even in that, like I go, whatever the truth is the truth. So whatever you were operating in the past was just your beliefs being backed up by your biases and your experience, which is just what you're going to be doing, but you're going to be doing it in a way that you're self-aware and you choose. That's really the only difference. And as far as, you know, that whole picture of from past to future, if you, like, there's a simpler way of understanding that. There's, just say the universe at the moment you look at it is like one long piece of paper, you know, and you want to see the balance of things and the pattern of things along this line here. What happens when you turn each millisecond into its own long line here? So the universe is always in balance and always in harmony and always exactly as it needs to be in this millisecond, in this millisecond, in this millisecond, in this millisecond. And there's information that you don't have access to that makes it so. So trying to see the pattern this way, I just go, it's not possible. Like, there's no way to look at the world on this linear term and say, oh, I can see where it makes sense now, because the wholeness is in every experience, whether you want to call it milliseconds or hundreds of a seconds or millions of a seconds, however you want to divide up your reality, the wholeness is there and it's always existing. So the truth, like, it's not like you can be a little bit pregnant. Whatever your truth is, it's your truth. And it's manifesting in your reality, in your experience. If you want to understand what that means, if you want to put all that on the table and have a conscious awareness of what your experience is and what your truth is, then we can help you do that. And then you have a choice. You can keep it, or you can choose to do something else. It's up to you.
I was just going to say, like, if you walk away from here going, yes, I want to choose. I'm going to choose to have it be a benevolent universe. Yes, I'm going to choose to have it be a benevolent universe. Oh, that bastard didn't do the dishes again. Fucking shit. Bloody, that's it. I'm always the poor person who has to do everything around here. Why? Why me? Why me? Why me?
Yeah.
And suddenly the victim is the loudest point, and you are screaming at yourself, screaming at the world, going, why is it so? It's not in the correcting of that. It's not in the, oh, I'm being bad, I'm being the victim again, I have to work out how to not be the victim again. It is asking yourself, how does it serve me? This is my experience right now. The loudest experience is poor me. This is terrible. It always happens like this for me. How does that serve me? And you may go, it serves me perfectly. I've got everyone running around after me and doing, you know, like, this looks good to me at the moment. I think it's working.
Yeah.
I can see where this is working for me. I can see where this serves me. And that may be all you need right now.
Yeah.
That may be exactly perfect for you, and you keep going through the day and you go to the next place and you have the next experience. And whatever is the loudest point will be the loudest point there.
But it just gives you a sense of, and it's not even that I know what's happening, but that's where the peace comes in. It's not that there's no more unexpected or surprising moments, that there is a sense of peace because you know there's a reason and you know how to experience it, even if you don't get an answer. You know how to experience the reason.
And I keep stressing that at every turn, I've gone, yes, I want this experience. And at many turns, Mel has gone to me, you have a choice. If you want to keep that viewpoint, go for it. If it's working for you, if it serves you, go for it. Go and play in that area and see what you get from it. That's there to serve you. Go and have the experience. You are standing in front of me saying, but I can't look at it that way. I've got to go and see it the other way. The other way is all crowding in on me and I can't see anything else. It's like, okay, if that's what you're telling us right now that you need to be experiencing or you are experiencing,
that's
your truth.
Yeah.
You have the experience with that truth.
Take responsibility for it. Have it.
Go for it. Be in it. Immerse yourself. You are immersed in it. There's nothing you can, you know, it's not like, I mean, somewhere you're already fighting it because you're arguing with us about it. You are fighting it somewhere. And chances are, if we were standing in front of you and going, you have a choice. Which viewpoint do you want to take on for the moment? Which reality do you want to be in? Do you want to be a victim or do you want to have the benevolent universe operating for you?
But I think it's, you have to, so, okay, there's a couple of steps. So the acknowledging that that's what's happening, acknowledging that it's serving you, giving thanks for the fact that it's serving you, and then going, okay, I have a choice. I know that it's been perfect the whole time. Okay, so it's not like you go, oh, I'm a victim and I can see everybody running around for me. I don't know. And then you go into a fight about it and then you go, that's it, I need to do something else. Like I don't know if that's how it feels when you're going through it, but there needs to be that sense of, I see how it serves me and I'm grateful. If there's no gratitude, then you're just swapping, you know, one discomfort for another, one sense of it's not working for me or I'm not doing it right for another. There has to be gratitude for the fact that it's perfect just as it is and that it is my truth. It's not that I'm getting it wrong. I really did set it up this way. even though it's not happening in a vacuum, it's not like a willful thing where you say, all right, I decide, I'm a conscious being and I decide. There will be all of that spiritual stuff, and it will have occurred at a very early age, probably in a non-language state, and it's been perpetuated in a particular way. But as far as the awareness process goes, change doesn't come before you're grateful. So it's not like we're going to get to a point and you're going to be arguing about it and then all of a sudden you'll make some rash emotional decision to do something differently. It will make sense to you. And then when you go, okay, I get how it's working. I get that it's working. And I'm grateful. Do I want it to be different? Do I want to step into it in a different way? And we can't make that happen. We can only show you how that's possible. And then from then on, you know how to make it possible for all of your situations, for all of the beliefs and lattice points that come up in your life. You get a sense of, how do I have the experience of knowing it's my lattice point for a reason, asking if it wasn't about other people, what would it be about? Getting to the core belief or getting to the invitation. Because the thing is, it's not just about your core beliefs. It's about, this is how the universe communicates with you. So if the universe wants you to do a TV show, it won't say, hey, guess what? I want you to do a TV show. I mean, it might. But all the other experiences you are having, it's telling you either some awareness, some self-awareness possibility, or some invitation. And so you get to be in every experience to go, hang on, okay, so is this about what I'm perceiving in the world, or is this an invitation? Am I being asked to have an experience? Which is, it just feels a bit gentler. I mean, I know we don't talk about outcomes, but there is something, even though there's emotion involved and it's changes the way you relate to people, and you don't get to make the rules for anyone anymore. You don't get to say,
what?
You don't.
No one told me that was in the contract.
You know, like it's
Okay.
it's very I don't know, I don't want to say tricky, but it's very, you know, you have a lot of moments where you go, hang on, what's really going on?
And I think that's when Mel says it's tricky, we will also advertise this as the effortless life. Because somewhere else, in as much as it is tricky, if you're caught in your brain trying to work it out, being present and dropping in and having the experience you're having is the simplest. You don't have to manipulate anything. You don't have to change anything. You don't have to even question anything, really.
Yeah.
You just have to be with your own experience.
Yeah.
And be grateful for it and recognize that it's there for you, which is by far one of the simplest things that you can actually do.
Yeah.
And so even though it's tricky, it's, I don't know.
It's tricky because your interpretation, like, you know.
I spin plates, all right, on a stick. It's a circus trick. And it's one of those things, you've never done it before, and it's a certain motion with your hand, and you have to stop suddenly, and the plate ends up spinning on the stick. And it's like, sometimes it's the hardest thing to do and think about and work out how to do it. But when you get it, everyone goes, oh, is that all it is? Like, oh, I get it now, it's so simple. And it's a bit like spinning plates.
Yeah.
I say, because it is that thing of you're trying to come at it from all these different angles, and then you just realise, boom.
Yeah.
You're on point already.
Yeah.
It's like, how did I get there? I was always there.
Yeah.
It was easy.
But it's true. I'm just going, it's tricky because there's those priorities, those sense of, oh, I've got to make sure I'm polite. I've got to make sure my friends treat me a particular way. I've got to make sure there's a certain amount of money in the bank. I've got to make sure my lipstick's this colour. I've got to make sure the recycling goes out. I've got to make sure.
And also in that, there's the sense that when you're on point, there is nothing to do.
Yeah.
And that's quite a void if you've been in that space of manoeuvring and manipulating and trying to be in control of everything and keep all the plates spinning, because there is that kind of, you know, the desk, the office, the bills, the family, and you're running around doing all this, trying to keep all the plates spinning. The plates spin by themselves. You don't have to do anything. And then you're standing around going, oh, right, okay.
What am I doing?
There's quite a void there. There's quite a lot of space for you to be in.
I don't know. It's quite, well, yeah, but it's the whole thing is, what am I doing? This experience, what am I doing? Like, where am I? What's happening for me? What's the universe's conversation with me? What's really going on now? And it's constant. Like, it is this constant paying attention. So it's, I mean, there's a lot of freedom in there, and there's a lot of non-judgment about yourself and other people, but it's still, it's enough to keep you busy.
And even when I say there's a lot of space, like there may be like a really, you know, oh, I get to sit in the ocean for half a day and roll around with the waves, or there may be a massive download of data, or there may be, you know, like it may look many different ways. Because for some people opening that space, it's like a vacuum that pulls in a lot of things that they need, and for other people opening up that space looks like, oh, I haven't had this much time to myself for the longest time. And it won't look like the same thing every day or any moment of it, any day either. We are so grateful that you're here. And
what time is it?
I've got no idea, but miraclesandwonder@gmail.com. If you want any support with your journey, anyone to walk with you on your journey, walk a little closer. I'm going to be walking through America soon, so find me out there. And if this is past its use by date, like if you're not seeing this now, before March, there's so many ways you can connect with us, and we love the fact that we've set up so many different ways that you can connect with us. So whatever you need, give us a call, miraclesandwonder@gmail.com. If you just feel like you want some more stimulation for your own philosophizing, our ebooks are out there in our store on miraclesandwonder.com.
Downunder.com.
Downunder.com.
Miraclesandwonder.downunder.com.
And I really am going to be in Sacramento, Reno, Rock Springs, Fort Collins, Netherlands, Chicago, Sheboygan, San Francisco, hopefully in the next few weeks. So if you're in any of those places, give us a holler. Holler out to us. And if you're coming to Chewingham or Mel will be home, maybe. Quite possibly.
Who knows? There's a little bug walking across the computer. You know, every time I see them, I think of Buddha. I don't know why.
Because he had bugs on his head looking after him.
I thought they were snails.
Yeah, they're bugs. Close enough. Enjoy the weather.
Enjoy the weather.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You might have noticed we're a bit green today because we're in a different room. We've got lovely greenery out the window. And as we started talking, the clouds came in and it started raining. So the greenery is very happy, shooting out new shoots everywhere.
Yes, we'll have to set something up so you can see green next time.
Adios, amigos. See you later. End.